Chapter 1. Is a duel equivalent to transmigration? The Douluo continent is a realm of flourishing diversity, yet one that stands apart in singular brilliance. Here, one will not find dazzling magic instead. The art of combat is characterized by rudimentary swordsmanship and marksmanship, alongside a profession revered above all. Others the soul master. The soul spirit is a unique phenomenon of the Douluo continent. From noble lords to humble commoners, regardless of status or wealth, every individual experiences the awakening of their soul spirit at the tender age of 6. Should one possess even a trace of innate soul power, they may cultivate their abilities to become a soul master. If one is endowed with innate soul power of level 6 or higher, then congratulations, you are deemed a prodigy. Soul masters can acquire a halo-like item through the hunting of the continent's unique creatures known as soul beasts. This item is referred to as a soul ring, which encompasses the skills possessed by the soul beast during its lifetime, known as soul skills. Soul rings produced by a 10-year-old soul beast manifest as white, those of 100 years as yellow, 1,000 years as purple, 10,000 years as black, 100,000 years as red, and 1,000,000 years as gold. The number of soul rings adorning a soul master serves as an indicator of their rank, ranging from 1 to 9 rings, classified as soul master, great soul master, soul sovereign, soul daw, soul king, soul emperor, soul saint, title daw, and limit daw. While soul skills may vary in potency, some capable of cleaving through city walls, while others are but suited for tilling the earth, there is no denying that a faction possessing a greater number of high-ranking soul masters is inherently stronger. Thus, numerous sects have emerged across the Douluo continent. Among these, the Spirit Hall, the Tiando Empire, the Xingluo Empire, the Haoyan sect, the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile sect, and the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan are the most representative, as they stand as the 6 most formidable powers upon the continent. The Haoyan sect, the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile sect, and the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan primarily focus on bloodline and soul spirit inheritance, while the Tiando and Xingluo empires derive their strength from noble and royal classes. However, the Spirit Hall presents a unique case established by the angel deity. Its core policy is to assist commoners in awakening their soul spirits free of charge, thereby recruiting commoner soul masters to augment its power. After years of development, it has ascended to become the continent's foremost authority. This approach incites profound apprehension within the Tiando and Xingluo empires, as they represent an amalgamation of noble and royal interests, fundamentally profiting by exploiting the common populace. The Spirit Hall's actions directly undermine the foundations of these two empires, rendering them as thorns in their sides. Nonetheless, given that the Spirit Hall is an establishment of the angel deity, the empires find themselves compelled to endure, even allocating a territory the size of a province at their border for the Spirit Hall to govern freely. Spirit City serves as the headquarters of the Spirit Hall, a city constructed amidst mountains, with a notably iconic edifice, the Papal Palace, nestled on a mountainside, while the Douluo Hall resides atop the peak. The Papal Palace is the abode of the highest ruler of the Spirit Hall, the Pope, while the Douluo Hall is the resting place for all deceased titled Douluos, colloquially known as the tomb of titled Douluos, that in a grand residence located in the southeast direction of the Pope's Palace in Wuhan City. An elderly man with white hair and a slender frame, clad in a golden robe and appearing to be in his 80s or 90s, anxiously paced before a door. The sounds emanating from within only heightened his agitation. Behind the elderly figure stood a middle-aged man with golden hair and sharp eyes, seemingly in his 40s, yet they shared a resemblance in their features. These two individuals were the current grand offering of the Wuhan Palace, Qian Renxue, and his son, Qianchongling. At this moment, Qian Renxue exhibited none of his usual composure and calmness. He was consumed by anxiety, seeking solace in his restless movement. Observing his father's incessant pacing, Qianchongling remarked, "Father, your pacing is making me dizzy. With so many experienced midwives and healing soul masters inside, your concern is leading to confusion." Qian Renxue replied, "As a father, I am naturally aware, but your mother's health has not been good in recent years, and with her advancing age, how can I not worry?" Qianchongling nodded in understanding. Though he appeared to be in his 40s or 50s, his true age surpassed 80, a testament to his profound cultivation which granted him a youthful appearance. Just as the father and son conversed, a formless light silently descended into the room. "Wah wah wah. Master, the lady has given birth, it's a boy." The wail of an infant resonated from within, prompting the father and son to exchange glances before hastily entering the room. Inside, on the bed, lay a stunningly beautiful middle-aged woman, her complexion pale and slick with sweat, breathing heavily. Qian Renxue seated himself beside her, gently taking her delicate hand in his, and inquired with concern, Yuner, you have worked hard, how do you feel? The woman, Zhou Yun, shook her head and softly replied, it's not too arduous, just a bit weak. Her voice was gentle and soothing, albeit lacking strength, likely a result of her postnatal fatigue, as she had mentioned. I wish to see our child, Zhou Yun expressed. Upon hearing this, a nearby maid swiftly approached, cradling the infant in her arms and presenting him to her. Zhou Yun gazed at the child with a face full of joy and then looked at Qian Renxue, saying, Sunge, look at our child, he's so adorable. Qian Renxue remarked, his eyes and nose resemble yours. Standing to the side, Qianchongling, who had been unable to interject, could no longer contain himself as he observed his parents' affectionate exchange. Mother, have you and father chosen a name for our younger brother? Although he was caught off guard by the sudden arrival of a brother at nearly a century of age, his feelings were predominantly ones of joy. The Qian family of the Wuhuan Palace, despite their vast estate, had maintained a lineage that was notably sparse since the time of the angelic god. The addition of a brother not only allowed him to experience the role of an elder sibling, but also to aid in safeguarding and perpetuating the glory of the angelic god which he fervently cherished. Zhou Yun responded, he shares your generation, let us name him Qianchongling. The descendants of the Wuhuan Palace's Qian family are guided by the ancestral motto, to subdue evil spirits, endure through the ages, to illuminate the path, and to seek the distant way to this moment. The harmonious family remained oblivious to the fact that the infant beside Zhou Yun had ceased his cries. The baby opened his azure-hued eyes, gazing at them in bewilderment. Didn't I engage in an exhilarating game of Yu-Gi-Oh with old Wang last night? I had summoned my fists in attack position, poised to triumph. Yet, suddenly, darkness enveloped me. Where am I? And why has my body become so diminutive? Chapter 2. Integrity and Kindness. The first 10 chapters may be somewhat tedious, but they can be skipped. In the blink of an eye, 3 years had elapsed. Within the papal palace, an exquisite woman sat beside a stone table in the garden, observing a 3-year-old boy playing joyfully. This boy was Qian Chongling. However, the woman was not Qian Chongling's biological mother, but rather his elder brother Qian Chongling's wife, Luo Shui, who bore the age of 40. Yet, time had left no trace upon her visage. She appeared as radiant and youthful as a girl in her 20s. As for Qian Chongling's mother, Zhou Yun, she had reached the end of her life 2 years prior. Strangely enough, despite being only 3 years old, Qianchongling exhibited remarkable intelligence, grasping concepts that were typically understood by children aged 7 or 8. This moment, he was engrossed in play with a few maidservants in the garden. Although he was drenched in sweat, his delight was unmistakable. Luo Shui, observing him, called out, Little Ling, come here and take a break. Qianchongling hurried over, exclaiming, Sister-in-law, I'm not tired. I want to play a little longer. Luo Shui produced a handkerchief to wipe the sweat from his brow and gently advised, rest for a moment before resuming your play. Last night descended like water. The papal palace fell into a tranquil silence, with most inhabitants fast asleep, save for a few patrolling the grounds. In Qianchongling's chamber, he sat cross-legged on the bed, grounding his energy in his dantian, eyes closed in meditation, inhaling and exhaling to cultivate his spirit. Silently practicing the Qian family's ancestral meditation technique, which was a divine method passed down from the angels. His posture was commendable, yet his thoughts had long drifted elsewhere thus. Qianchongling was entirely unaware of any soul energy flowing into his being. Originally named Qianling, he had been an ordinary office worker on Blue Star, toiling from 9 to 6, finding solace in listening to melodies and perusing online literature. Initially, he was unaware of his transmigration until one day, when his sister-in-law took him shopping in Wuhuan City. He overheard a woman on the street exclaiming, I have a gigantic bun. In an instant, a fragrant, oversized bun appeared in her hand. This scene felt oddly familiar to him, and soon he recalled. Back on Blue Star, he had read a novel entitled The Lost Continent, which seemed to mirror this very setting. While working on Blue Star, a colleague named Wang had recommended the novel, proclaiming it to be an exceptionally uplifting tale. A team narrated the journey of a child born into poverty, who, through perseverance and learning, befriended like-minded individuals, gradually evolving into a person of integrity, kindness, humility, and gratitude. The ultimate achievement lies in mastering order, becoming a deity of fairness and justice, and uprooting the most malevolent and wicked forces on the continent, those responsible for the demise of his mother, thus benefiting the realm. Although the narrative is rather clicked, he decided to delve into it upon a friend's recommendation. At the outset, the protagonist clandestinely acquires knowledge from a clandestine sect. only to be coerced into leaping off a cliff, subsequently transmigrating into another world. Upon reaching this point, Qianling was momentarily taken aback, pondering the implications of such actions. After all, to act without consent is to be deemed a thief. Regardless of whether others ultimately forgive you, the act of theft remains unchanged. How can a thief be associated with a gentleman? With these questions lingering, Qianling continued to read. Soon, the protagonist, Sangu, embarked on his academic journey, leading to a shocking scene. Due to his humble origins, both Sangu and the village chief were poorly dressed, prompting their scorn from the gatekeepers, who derided them. Consequently, our upright, kind-hearted, and courteous Sangu prepared to eliminate these two gatekeepers. To act so impulsively, threatening lives over mere words, such behavior is characteristic of a ruthless fiend, is it not? While the gatekeepers' disdain was indeed wrong, their offense hardly warranted death. A reprimand would suffice. After all, one cannot expect to be treated like nobility when one appears as a beggar. After witnessing this scene, Qianling thought perhaps the character was simply young and might find his way back to righteousness in due time. So he pressed on with the narrative. The next moment introduced the famed orator of Douluo continent, Yu Zuipeo, who managed to save the gatekeepers through his eloquence while taking Sangu under his wing. Sangu, having been swayed by his words, became a disciple. Though his innate soul power was cultivated through the Qiantian skill, he seemed not to grasp the intricacies of this new world and paid little heed to such details. After becoming a disciple, Yu Zuipeo took Sangu to hunt soul beasts in the soul-hunting forest, intending to procure a soul ring for him. Although Yu Zuipeo was skilled in persuasion, his actual combat abilities were woeful, leaving him nearly at the mercy of a century-old soul beast. Ultimately, it was Sangu who dealt the final blow to the creature. However, the following scene left Qianling once again astounded. Sangu employed hidden weapons to slay the soul beast, yet he was troubled by the fear of Yu Zuipeo discovering his secret. He contemplated eliminating Yu Zuipeo to silence him. Indeed, he harbored intentions of killing Yu Zuipeo, the very person he had recently declared to regard as a father figure. This shocking turn of events led Qianling to exclaim in disbelief, how could this ruthless child ever evolve into an upright, kind-hearted, courteous, and grateful gentleman? Fortunately, Yu Zuipeo remained oblivious to Sangu's secret, thus narrowly escaping disaster. As time passed, Sangu soon graduated from the junior academy. Accompanied by his recognized sister, Xiao Wu, he followed Yu Zuipeo's guidance to a place known as Monster Academy for further studies. There, Sangu encountered 5 companions: Dai Mubai, Oscar, Ma Hongjun, Ning Rongrong, and Zhu Zucking, together forming the illustrious group known as the Shrek 7 Monsters. Through the unfolding narrative, one discerns the personalities and character of these 5 children. Qianling has inadvertently dropped a certain item onto the ground. The leader of the 7 monsters, Dai Mubai, is renowned in Soto City as the peerless Silver Tiger, an expert in time management. His daily indulgences revolve around reveling in the company of young models, leading a life of extravagance, stirring trouble, and exhibiting an arrogant demeanor. Despite a quarrel arising over a room, it is understandable given that he is a prince of the Star Luo Empire, and such proclivities are rather commonplace in his position. However, as a prince, he is expected to partake in the fierce competition for the throne. Failure could lead to death or disgrace. Realizing his bleak prospects and a winning chance of 0, he abandons his fiancée to assume the role of a time management expert, leaving his betrothed, Zhu Zhuqing, to endure the harsh realities of the Star Luo Empire alone. At the very least, he should have taken her with him. In this context, Dai Mubai truly embodies the essence of the Silver Tiger, paragon of moral decay and a model of hedonism. The second member of the 7 monsters, Oscar, is known as the lecherous uncle, a sausage vendor, and one of the 2 relatively normal individuals among them. His only flaw is a somewhat sleazy demeanor, which is somewhat forgivable, as who among us is not a gentleman in their own right? The third member, Sangu, is characterized as upright and kind, courteous, grateful, and pure as jade. Is further elaboration necessary? The fourth member, Ma Hongjun, dubbed the Phoenix of the Brothel, is the most distasteful among them, exhibiting a revolting and vulgar nature, drooling at the sight of any attractive woman, his thoughts steeped in lewdness. The fifth member, Xiao Wu, is ironically not small at all. She is, in fact, a transformed being of the 10,000-year-old soul beast, the soft-bone rabbit from the Star Doe. Forest hardly human in the traditional sense. The sixth member, Ning Rongrong, the little princess of the 7-treasure glazed tile school, is exceedingly willful and displays extreme arrogance, rivaling Dai Mubai in her haughtiness, embodying the demeanor of someone who believes her sect to be the greatest. She is a quintessential example of a princess suffering from terminal entitlement, Yet one cannot entirely blame her. As a true princess, being pampered is to be expected, even if her disposition is rather off-putting. Nonetheless, it is commendable that she is willing to amend her ways, as this little sorceress becomes relatively normal in later developments. The youngest, Zhu Zhuqing, the second daughter of the Zhu family in the Star Luo Empire, is the final member who aligns with the standards of normalcy, her singular aspiration being the desire to survive. She possesses a commendable character, displaying resilience even in the face of Dai Mabai's actions, though one must acknowledge that her endurance stems from a lack of alternatives. Chapter 3. Courteous and Gracious. Now, when it comes to the motto of Shrek Academy, the situation becomes even more convoluted. The assertion that those who do not dare to stir trouble are mediocre is nothing short of boastful exaggeration, particularly when confronted with the formidable Sanhui Academy, where they display a haughty demeanor. Upon encountering the notoriously weak titled Dugabo, they are reduced to mere sickly cats, epitomizing the classic behavior of bullies who prey on the weak. At this juncture, Qianling has all but lost hope that Sange might ever evolve into an upright and kind, courteous, and grateful gentleman. After all, one is influenced by their surroundings with only two individuals exhibiting normalcy, the rest being an assortment of eccentric characters. What hope is there for self-improvement? Nonetheless, Qianling patiently continues to observe. Subsequently, the 7 companions formed a formidable team to participate in the elite Soul Master competition across the continent. They triumphed over numerous challenges along the way, reveling in their victories, which undoubtedly fostered an unshakable confidence in their combat prowess. However, due to the circumstances involving their adversaries, Sange was compelled to wield his second martial soul, the Haotian hammer, thereby revealing his true heritage. Upon witnessing this, Yu Zuipeo promptly sought out the most ruthless and nefarious force in this realm, the Spirit Hall. He intended to meet with the Pope of the Spirit Hall, his former lover, Bibi Dong, in hopes of learning the secrets to cultivating a twin martial soul. It is essential to note that Yu Zuipo's disciple is none other than Sange, the son of Tang Hao, who possesses the twin martial souls of Blue Silvergrass and the Haotian hammer. The Spirit Hall harbors an irreconcilable enmity against him. Should he reach his full potential, he would undoubtedly wreak havoc upon the Spirit Hall, scattering the ashes of countless titled Douluos from the Douluo Palace.